So we have 20 minutes till news, 25 minutes till news. So let's talk about some of these other important events going on. Okay. So I'm assuming that you heard about this yesterday. If you didn't, it's a good thing that I'm bringing this information to you. So hopefully you can help your family, your friends, and yourself. This is pretty important. It's from the Washington Post. I'm going to link this in the description. It says the FDA adds new warning on Johnson & Johnson vaccine related to rare autoimmune disorder. The agency cites link to small number of Guillain-Barré cases after vaccination, but says the shot's benefits outweigh the risk. Now, first, just reading the headline, which is never a good thing, we're going to Google the Guillain-Barré syndrome. I did this yesterday, but I want you guys to see. I don't know how they say it. We're going with Guillain-Barré, whatever. This syndrome is a rare disorder in which your body's immune system attacks the nervous system. Weakness and tingling in your extremities are usually the first symptoms. These sensations can quickly spread, eventually paralyzing your whole body. Okay, that sounds pretty serious. Now, it's good to see CNN talking about this, Newsweek talking about this. Everyone is talking about this. So it's a good thing. But I think it's even more important that we acknowledge the fact that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine already was one of the lowest effectiveness rates of the vaccines available. So now the fact that it's having even a small percentage of this side effect, to me, is very concerning. So let's go into the article and just read some of the information so we're not only looking at headlines. It says about 100 preliminary reports of Guillain-Barré have been detected in vaccine recipients after the administration of 12.8 million doses. So, okay, we gave out 13 million, only 100 people got it. That's a very low percentage, according to the companion sheet from the Centers for Disease Control, which monitors the vaccine safety. Of these reports, 95 were serious and required hospitalization. There was one death so far. Neither agency provided details about the death. The cases have largely been reported about 2 weeks after the vaccination and mostly in men, many aged 50 and older, according to the CDC. Most people fully recover from the syndrome. Well, that's good to know, but I know it also can paralyze you, so that's also out there. Not that great. It says the warning on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine will be the latest blow to a shot that had been eagerly anticipated because of its ease of use. It requires just one single dose, which makes it especially helpful in immunizing harder to reach populations and regions. But the vaccine has been plagued by problems, including massive stumbles at its U.S. manufacturing plant. The latest development comes at an especially fraught moment as the highly transmissible Delta variant sweeps the country and fuels an increase in coronavirus cases in many states. And the new warning could complicate the Biden administration's efforts to ramp up the inoculations in areas where skepticism regarding coronavirus vaccines remains high and the vaccine rate remains low. It says available data do not show a pattern suggesting a similar increased risk of Guillain-Barré with the Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna vaccines. More than 321 million doses of those vaccines, developed with a technology different from what's used to make the Johnson & Johnson, have been administered in the United States. So they're making the vaccine different, Pfizer and Moderna, and they're not having anyone show up, it seems, with this Guillain-Barré syndrome. However, I posted yesterday on Instagram about this news. As soon as I saw it, I reposted it, and someone DM'd me this. So my post was the Spectre Index, breaking news, FDA warns Johnson & Johnson, right? Someone DM'd me this. It says, my girl stopped having her period after taking the Pfizer vaccine. The more she looked into it, the more she found other women were having it. Research it. It's so fucked. I feel like we were taken advantage of. Now, this comes to me as information because I'm grateful and honored that I have so many followers and people that are communicating with me all over the world. This comes to me as I'm pretty close with a friend in Denver who's a health expert, I would call her. She's very knowledgeable in just health as a whole, you know? And she was posting on her story a few weeks ago hundreds of women that are experiencing not only missing their period if they get the vaccine, but they're missing their period if they're around other women who got the vaccine. Because, you know, for some reason, women's cycles link up and they always, if they're around each other, they have like their period at the same time. So even the women that aren't getting the I know it sounds wild. I didn't believe it at first. Women that aren't even getting the vaccine, if they're near women that get the vaccine, both parties, in some cases, are not getting their period anymore, which now you get into my area of no research because I have no proof of this other than people talking about it, but it does feed that idea of these vaccines sterilizing people, making people infertile, whether it's men or women or both. We don't know anything about that yet. We need more research on what is this doing to reproductivity, to your insides. It's just very, very scary. And you should be scared. Whether they gave out 3 million and only 100 people got it, or they gave out 30 million and 100 people got it. If someone's getting it, what's to say it couldn't be you? That's ignorance, in my opinion. And the only reason they don't flip the script, the only reason they choose to say, oh, we gave out 3 million and only 100 people got it, the only reason they're doing that is because it plays into their narrative. And the one other thing about this that's interesting is that they make these vaccines differently. Like, shouldn't it just be one process that we find the best process for, and we all share that information and mass produce vaccines? If we were interested in getting everyone healthy and keeping everyone from getting sick, yes. And more people would then trust the vaccines. But instead, you've got China making one. America's got 3 or 4 companies making one. Europe's making their own. Russia made their Sputnik vaccine. Everybody's making their own vaccine for profit. That's really all it is. It isn't even that complicated. It's for money. Look at Pfizer stock. Look at Moderna stock. Their stocks are having unbelievable years over the last 2 years. Why? Because they're going to make a ton of money selling their vaccines to states and governments. It's that simple. So just be careful, everybody. If you haven't gotten jabbed already, YouTube will be mad at me for bringing this up in total. But I would just say, do your research before you get jabbed. I'm not going to tell you to do it or not. Do your research before you get jabbed.